So today we're going to make a pumpkin that you can carve into and then light up. Yes, I know you're impressed. That's how we roll. Let's get started. So we're going to draw a background, then we're going to draw a pumpkin, and then we're going to carve into it. So let's draw our background. So tap on this gray plus button to open up your objects menu, and then drag out a text object, and this will draw our background. And let's not name it, so just tap cancel here, and then tap add a new rule, and then pick when the play button is tapped, and go down to the drawing tab to draw, and we're going to drag out a leave a trail block. And here pick the color you want your background to be. I'm going to make mine black, and then the width is going to be 3000, and this is going to draw something wider than the width of the screen, and so everything will be black. And then here for the move forward block, let's just make that 1, because this is going to be such a wide dot it doesn't need to be any longer than 1. And press check, and let's press play and see what that looks like. Cool. Okay, so we have a black background. So let's go back to edit, which you can do by tapping here. And then now let's exit out of here by tapping outside of the rule. So let's drag out another text object, and let's put it at like 350 by 350. And don't name this either, just tap cancel here. And let's add a new rule. And this is going to be a pumpkin. So I'm just going to draw a very thick, sort of long line that's orange. So when the play button is tapped, I'm going to go to drawing again, and pull out a leave a trail. And my pumpkin's going to be orange, so I'm going to tap orange. And the width is going to be 600. And then I'm just going to move forward 100. No. And I'm going to move forward 300. And let's see what that looks like. Press play. Cool. Okay, now I just need a little green stump. So let's go to edit. And let's get out of here. And let's tap on the plus button again and drag out another text object. And let's put that at like 500 by 600. Right there. And I'm going to tap cancel here. I don't want to name this object either. And by not naming a text object, it's just invisible. And let's add a new rule. When the play button is tapped, I'm going to draw this green stump. So go to drawing again, drag out a leave a trail, and I'm going to pick green for my stump. And the width is going to be, I'm going to make it 150. Press check, and then I'm not going to move forward, I want to move up to draw this stump. So I'm going to drag this off the screen, and I'm going to go to movement, and I'm going to go to more in the movement tab, and I'm going to pull out a change Y block and put it inside the leave a trail block. Change Y moves things up or down, and I want to change Y by 50, which will move it up 50 pixels. Press check, let's see if it works. Cool. Okay, it's not the most complicated pumpkin in the world, but it'll get the job done. So now we're going to make a drawing tool that will add glowing shapes onto our pumpkin. So let's go back to edit, and let's tap out of here. And let's go to the plus button, and let's add one more text object. And let's not name this either. So press cancel here, and let's add a new rule. So the way this works is that when I press my finger on the screen, this object is going to make clones that become yellow dots. So that way it'll look like I'm drawing. You can think of these dots as like ink or something. So let's go to more for the when and find is pressed, and then pick iPad and press check. Okay, so the way we're going to make this work is that when the iPad is pressed, I want to create a clone, which you can do down in control flow, and then go to more and pull out a create a clone. So this is going to get tricky, because what this means is that when I press the iPad, this object will make clones. And then if I press it again, the object will make more clones, but the other clones will also make clones, and I don't want that. So instead, I'm going to check if this is the original object and only let that create clones. And so the way I'm going to do that is I'm going to drag out a check once if block, and I'm going to pick equals, and then go to values, and I'm going to pick invisibility as a %. This text object's invisibility is a %, going to check if it's 100. Press check, and I'm going to drag this in there. This will be true of only the first object if we make that so. So we have to exit out of this rule and add a new rule to this object and say when the play button is tapped, which is the only when that clones don't care about. You can put anything in here and the clones are just going to be like, whatever, don't care. So that's how we differentiate the original from the clones, because what we put in here happens to the original and the original alone. So go to looks and sounds, and we're going to set this to 100% invisibility. So go to more in looks and sounds, drag out an invisibility block and set it to 100. So if I press play, you're not going to see anything happen because those clones are also, they're just empty text objects. So let's go back to edit and make them do stuff. So let's add our final rule. Add a new rule. When character is cloned, make the clone do the following. So we want the clone to go where your finger is and become a yellow dot. So to go to where your finger is, we got to go to movement and pull out a set position block. And go to values, and then tap on this gray arrow next to the text object until you find the iPad's values, and then pick last touched X for the X bubble. And then tap on the Y bubble, and for that you're going to go to values again and pick last touched Y. And press check, and this block sets something to where your finger last touched the iPad. So we're putting our clone here, and then we want our clone to be a yellow dot. So go down to looks and sounds and pull out a set text block. And here, let's tap on this keyboard and remove this new text, and then go to this numbers block in the corner, this numbers button in the corner, and then you see this hyphen right here on the left. Hold on this, and then go to this thing. I just need like a big kind of dot. Press check, then press done once you have that. And now I can set that color to yellow. And I want this to be a little bigger. So I'm going to set size. So I'm going to drag out a set size block. I'm going to make it like 300. Okay, so let's see what happens. Oh. And you got yourself a pumpkin. This one's scary. Okay, so why did I go through all this cloning business if I could have just left a trail? Because now we can turn this pumpkin off. So exit out of here, and let's make a new object. So grab a text object, and let's call it on. Let's add a new rule. When the play button is tapped, let's set the text to on, but white. So go to looks and sounds, drag out a set text object, and let's set it to say on, like we did before, but now we can change the color. And I'm going to change it to white. Press check, and let's see what that looks like. Cool, we have a word that says on. Let's go back. So now let's add an off button. So drag out another text object, and let's call this off. Add a new rule. When the play button is tapped, go to looks and sounds and set text. Go to your keyboard, remove the new text, and let's call this off. Press check, and let's set the color as well to white. And let's play. Now we have two texts, right? On and off. So now let's go to edit, and this is the cool part. Exit out of here. For this text object that was making the clones, let's add two more rules. So let's add one rule. It says add new rule, and pick is tapped, blank is tapped, and then pick off, and press check. And here, go to looks and sounds and drag out a set text, and then go to the keyboard and remove new text, and go to this numbers button and pick the hyphen, hold, and then pick this bullet again, press done, and we can set the color back to black. Exit out of here, and let's add one last rule. So then pick blank is tapped again, and now pick on. Press check. Go to looks and sounds, drag out a set text, and same thing, go to the bullet. So go to keyboards, remove this new text, to numbers, hold on the hyphen, and then get bullet, press done, and let's set this to yellow. Press check, and now see what happens. Let's go back to play. Okay, so I can draw, and I can turn my pumpkin on and off, which is awesome, right? Except that I'm also covering these buttons with these little clones, right? So we can actually fix that. Let me quickly fix that. Go to edit. So let's quickly fix that. So go to edit, and go to your text object right here that draws the clones, and find the when character is cloned rule. And let's put this all in a gate that makes sure that you're touching above this line, the y equals 200 line. So go to control flow and drag out a check once if, and then pick bigger than, then go to values and tap on the gray arrow until you're in the iPad's values, and then pick last touched y, and let's make it bigger than 100. And then you want to put these blocks back inside, and then they will only be run if this is true, if you are touching above the y equals 100 line. So make sure this is what your blocks look like in this order, and then let's see what happens. Drawing, super cool, but that doesn't work down here. So now I can turn it off, and on, and off, and on. Isn't that awesome? So now you learned how to pumpkin draw, and now you can make such cool art, and you can even change the size of your pen by going to this rule. And if you make this a smaller number, you'll have little dots. If you make this a huge number, you'll have big dots. Or you can make it a value and change the size in the project. I'd love to see people make that. So I'm excited to see what you do with this, and I want to see all your cool pumpkins. So make some pumpkins and show it to the community, and I'll see you next time. Bye.